Alright, so we're going to go over the Unit 4 test review, the one that we did in class. Number 1 says, William has a lawn service. The graph below shows the relationship between hours worked and William's pay. How many hours does William work to earn $90? So if you look on your y-axis, you have money earned in dollars, and we're going to look right here at our $90. So here's my $90. And if you notice, our line here does not extend all the way to 90, so you can fold your paper over and just continue your line. And you'll see that the line will meet somewhere around here, which if you go straight down is about 12 hours. So anywhere between 11 to 12 hours would be an acceptable answer. Number 2, it says given the equation y equals negative 5x minus 7, what is the y-intercept? So this is in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. M stands for your slope, B stands for your y-intercept. So the question is asking what our y-intercept is. It's negative 7. The way that we will write it, those will order pair, so they'll be 0, comma, negative 7. Number 3, it says what is the effect on the graph of changing the equation y equals 2x minus 3 to y equals 2x plus 5. So again, both of these are in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b, y equals mx plus b. If you notice, both of these, their slopes are 2, and what's changed is your y-intercept. It went from negative 3 to 5. So what you can do is put these into y equals. So we have 2x minus 3 and 2x plus 5. So 2x minus 3 and 2x plus 5. And if you look at the graph, here's my first graph, and here is my second graph. So my slope stays the same. My y-intercept, though, went from negative 3 to positive 5. So it shifted up, and then you can count how many units. So you went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here we can fill in the blanks. The line shifts up by 8 units. Then the next question says, does the slope change? It does not. If you look, your slope for both of these is 2. So we'll put here that no. We'll put m is equal to 2. Number 4, the distance a truck travels varies directly with the number of hours driven. A truck travels 192 miles in 3 hours. If the truck continues to travel at the same rate, how long will it take the truck to go 512 miles? All you have to do is set a proportion. You have 192 miles in 3 hours is equal to, it's trying to figure out the time it takes to travel. So we're going to put x down here for my hours, and it's traveling 512 miles. So all you're going to do is cross multiply. You can do your little butterfly here. So we would have 192 times x is equal to 3 times 512. So you have 192x. You can type in your calculator. 3 times 512. You get 1,536. And then you get x by itself. You divide both sides by 192. So you'll get x is equal to, type in that divided by, we're dividing it by 192. And we get 8. So x is equal to 8. So it would take 8 hours for that truck to travel 512 miles. Alright, next question says, how would the graph of this line change if the number 3 is replaced with 0.5? So we're going to rewrite this, y equals 0.5x minus 1. Best way to look at the difference between these two is to put it into your calculator and y equals. So my first equation was 3x minus 1. And the second one is 0.5x minus 1. So we're going to look at the graph. So there's the first equation, and there's my second equation. So if you notice, it crosses the y-axis here at -1, so my y-intercept did not change. From this blue line to the red, you'll notice that your steepness changed. This line is steep, this one is less steep. So what we'll put here, it says how will the graph of this line change? We'll put here the graph would be less steep. Okay. Number 6, what are the x and y intercepts for the equation? 4x plus 3y is equal to 24. If you remember, we put these in your journal. You have your x-intercept, so you keep the x. For your y-intercept, you keep the y in your order pair. So after this, it's just plugging it in. So label it x and y. We know y is 0. So we're going to plug in 4x plus 3 times my y is 0 is equal to 24. Anything times 0 is just 0, so that crosses out. So we have 4x is equal to 24. Divide both sides by 4. So x is equal to 6. So up here, my x-intercept would be 6, 0. For your y-intercept, again, label it x and y as the order pair. Here you know x is 0. So we're going to plug in 4 times x is 0 plus 3y is equal to 24. Again, anything times 0 crosses out. So you just have 3y equals 24. Divide both sides by 3. We get y is equal to 8. So over here, my y-intercept would just be 0, 8. Number 7 says, what is the slope of a line that passes through the points? You have -3, -1, and 6, 5. We can make an xy table. -3, -1, 6, 5. Slope is change in y over change in x. So my change in y, to go from -1 to 5, you have to go up by 6. Change in x from -3 to 6, you have to go up by 9. If you type that in the calculator, 6 divided by 9, and you can hit math, enter, enter. It'll reduce the fraction for you, which is 2/3. You can also check yourself by plugging this into stat edit. Remember, x's are L1s, your y's are L2. So we can go stat edit. In L1 are my x values, which I have -3 and 6. And then in L2, I have -1 and 5. So -1 and 5. So then we hit stat, your arrow over to calc, you hit the number 4. On your calculator, you only have to hit enter once. And so this is what you get. And the question is asking for slope, so that's your 0.66667. In your calculator, you can type that 0.66. And on your calculator, it'll go to the second line. So you type it in a couple of times, and then add on that 7. And then hit math, enter, enter. And it shows that it's 2/3, which is what we got using change in y over change in x. So we know here that our answer is correct. Okay, this one's asking for the slope of the line represented by the table below. Again, remember we have change in y over change in x. So if you look what your y's are going up by, they're going up by 1s. So my change in y is a 1. Change in x here, there's no change. Go from 5 to 5 is 0, 0, 0, and 0. So if you were to type in the calculator 1 divided by 0, it's going to get you an error because you cannot divide by 0. So when you get an error, we call this undefined. Also, if you look at your graph, okay, here it tells you x is 5 the entire time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. X is 5 on this entire line. So when it's a line that goes straight up and down, your slope is going to be undefined. Number 9, the slope of the line graph below is, okay, earlier I taught you about your little heart monitor. When it goes like this and all of a sudden you like flatline and goes all the way across. Okay, that your slope for this line is going to be 0. Your heartbeat there is going to be 0. We're going to go ahead and draw out what the graphs look like for positive, negative, and undefined because you need to know that for your test. So positive, if you write your name on the line, goes up. Negative, if you write your name on the line, it goes down. Okay, 0, another way you can remember this is when you can write it straight across like you do on your paper. Okay, if you forget though to write your name on your paper, I would give you a grade of 0. So it looks like a normal paper, write your name on that line. Remember that if you don't put your name on that line, you're going to get a 0. Undefined again, just goes straight up and down. So there's multiple ways how you can remember that a horizontal line is going to be a slope of 0. Okay, number 10, it says which of the following order pairs are in the solution set for the inequality y is less than or equal to 3x plus 2. We can label these x and y, x and y, x and y. And we can go ahead and plug them in. So for this first one, it says y. Well, my y is 5. It's less than or equal to 3 times x is 1 plus 2. So 5 is less than or equal to 3 times 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 is equal to 5, so that is true. So that's going to be in the solution set, which would be that shaded region that we did last Friday. Second one, we have 2 and 2. So my y is 2. It's less than or equal to 3 times x. X is 2 plus 2. So 2 is less than or equal to 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. 2 is less than 8. So that is true, which means it's in the solution set. Last one, my y value is a negative 3, less than or equal to 3 times x, which is negative 2, plus 2. So you have negative 3 is less than or equal to 3 times negative 2 is a negative 6. Negative 6 plus 2 is a negative 4. Okay, if you need to draw out a number line, so you can see where it's at, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. As you go this way, the numbers are less. So negative 3 is not less than negative 4. So that's not true, so this would not be in the solution set. Okay, this is question number 11. Solve the equation below for y. So you're going to try to put this, right now it's in standard form, ax plus by equals c. You need to solve for y to put it in slope-intercept form. You had 2 steps. This is in your journal. The first one was called the exciting move because we have to move the x over. If he's positive, when you move him over, he's going to become negative. So we have 3y is equal to, put him up front, it's a 12 that we're going to attach onto the end. The second step is called the great divide. So we're going to divide everything here by 3. So we have y equals, you can type this in the calculator, negative 6 divided by 3, it comes out to negative 2. Don't forget your x, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. We can take this a step further and also find 2 pieces of information, your slope and your y-intercept. Slope here is negative 2, y-intercept is 0, 4. And that's just taking a step further because all it's asking was to solve for y, and we did that. Alright, number 12, the video store charges a rental cost of $3 per day to rent a video. We're going to write an equation that represents the cost, y, of renting a video for x days. So when you read this, you have $3 per day. Per means you're multiplying. We don't know how many days, so we're going to put x. So when we write our equation, we have y equals 3 times x. Okay, number 13, we're simplifying the expression 20x minus 2 times 5x plus 7 minus 5x. You have one set of parentheses, so you're going to distribute one time. You're going to distribute the negative 2 to the 5x and to the 7. Don't forget the negative. Negative 2 times 5x is negative 10x. Negative 2 times 7 is negative 14. and then we're just going to bring down everything else. You have two communities here. You have your x's and your constants. So we're going to go ahead and combine our x's. 20 minus 10 is 10, and 10 minus 5 is 5, so we have 5x. And then the constant that I have left over is a minus 14. And you can't combine those two, so that is your final answer. All right, number 14, it says which statement below is not true about the graph of y equals 4x minus 3. You're going to mark these as true or false. First one says your y-intercept is 0, 3. Well, if you remember, this is in slope-intercept form, mx plus b. Your y-intercept right here is a negative 3. So this is going to be false. The reason why it's false is this should say 0, negative 3. Second one says the slope is negative. Here, if you look at your slope, okay, your slope is 4. So that's false because your slope should be positive. And that's because m is equal to 4. Next one says the graph is linear. We can put this in y equals. And we have, you can clear out what we have in there. And so if you look, our equation was 4x minus 3. So y equals 4x minus 3. When you look at your graph, linear, the key word in linear is line. You have a straight line, so this equation is going to be linear. The last one says, as the value of x increases, the value of y increases. Well, you can just look at your table. So second graph, here's your table. As your x values increase, you can look at your y values also increase. So this would be true. So you should have 2 false and 2 true. All right, number 15, solve this inequality. Just like solving an equation, we just have our inequality symbol. Okay, we're going to get our x's on the same side, so we're going to move this 4x over. He's positive, we're going to make it a negative. Cross out our 0 pair. 8 minus 4 is just 4, so we have 4x plus 3. It's less than or equal to 11. And now it's a simple two-step equation. Subtract 3 from both sides. Cross out your 0 pair, you have a 4x left over. 11 minus 3 is 8. Divide both sides by 4. Okay, here you're not going to flip your inequality because you're not dividing by a negative. So we just have x is less than or equal to 8 divided by 4 is 2. Number 16, they give you in the equation y equals 3 over 2x minus 1 produces your table below. It's asking for the range and the domain for the table. So this is a really simple problem. If you just write down x, y, ID of the doctor, independent, dependent, domain, and range. We know domain is x and range is y. So all you're doing for domain is just listing out your x values. Negative 1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. Your range, all you do is just list out your y values. Negative 2.5, negative 1, 0.5, 2, and 3.5. Okay, number 17 says complete the descriptions of the slope. It's rise over run, change in y over change in x, vertical change over horizontal change, and the last one would be the steepness of a line, because that's what slope measures, is the steepness of those lines. All right, last page. Number 18, it says given the function f of x is equal to x plus 3, what is the dependent quantity? All you have to use here is dfi. Okay, so dependent is your f of x. F goes over your equal sign. Your I is your x. When you talk about quantities and variables, you don't care about numbers. You don't care about your constants. So dependent, okay, have your letter D here, which we have labeled as f of x. Number 19, the sides of a triangle have lengths in the ratio of 3 to 6 to 6. The perimeter of your triangle is 180 centimeters. Find the lengths of each side of the triangle. This is where we're going to use our table x's and numbers and total sum. Okay, so for my x's, that's our ratios. So we have 3x, 6x, and 6x. And then the next piece of information we know is the perimeter of the triangle. So we add up all the sides is equal to 180 centimeters. Okay, well, this is my total x's. So 3 plus 6 is 9. 9 plus 6 is 15. So you have a simple one-step equation. 15x is equal to 180. Divide both sides by 15. If you need to, you can type it into your calculator. So you have 180 divided by 15. And you get 12. So x is equal to 12. That's not your answer though, because it's asking for the lengths of each side. So what you do with your answer here is we're going to plug it back in. 3 times 12 is 36. 6 times 12 is 72. And the way you can check yourself is you can add up your sides. So we have 36, 72, and 72. And when we add these up, it should come out to 180. I have it backwards. 72 and 72. And it comes out to 180. So we know here that our answer is correct. So my sides are 36, 72, and 72. All right, last one. If y is directly proportional, here's your keyword, to x and y equals to 16 when x equals 8, what is the value of y when x is equal to 12? Okay, keyword right here, proportional, directly proportional. So all we're going to do is set proportion. It doesn't matter if you want to put y's on top and x on bottom, or x on top and y's on bottom, as long as you keep it the same. So it tells me y is 216 when x is 8. So what is y when x is 12? So all you're going to do is your cross multiplication or your butterfly. You have 8 times y, which is 8y. And we're going to do 216 times 12. So 8y is equal to, in the calculator we can do 216 times 12. So we get 2,592. And then divide both sides by 8. So you can divide that by 8. And your answer is 324. Alright, so that is all 20 questions on your review. Those questions on your review are the very, very similar to your test. So just make sure that you study those.